Welcome to Aptitude for Placements, and my name is Ranjit. I have conducted this aptitude training program at various engineering colleges all over India, and every year thousands of students get placed by attending this aptitude training program. Here you will find all the questions that are commonly encountered in most of the aptitude tests. These are the questions that keep on repeating in many of these tests. So just familiarize yourself with all these questions and you will have a clear advantage when you attempt your actual placement test. Let's start. Let us start with the topic probability. While calculating probability, in many of the questions we will be calculating probability as number of favorable outcomes by total number of outcomes. Now while calculating the total number of outcomes, very often we will be using the formulas that we had familiarized in the topic permutations and combinations. So you have to be familiar with the formulas that were used in the topic permutations and combinations. Two dice are thrown. What is the probability of getting a total of 8? Now probability is often calculated as number of favorable cases out of the total number of cases. First of all, let us calculate the total number of outcomes. Now when you throw a die, it can be any number from 1 to 6. So first one can be any number from 1 to 6. 6 possible outcomes are there. Now for the second one also, it can be any number from 1 to 6. So 6 possible outcomes. So 6 into 6, 36 is the total number of outcomes. Now in the numerator, we will have the number of favorable outcomes where their total is equal to 8. So we will calculate the number of favorable outcomes where their total is equal to 8. So one possible outcome is it can be 6 and 2. So 6 plus 2 is 8. Another one is 5 and 3. And another one is 4 and 4. Also 6 and 2 can be interchanged. It can be 2 and 6. 5 and 3 can be interchanged. It can be 3 and 5. 4 and 4 cannot be interchanged. So here altogether 5 possible outcomes are there. These are the favorable cases where the total sum is 8. That is 6, 2, 2, 6, 5, 3, 3, 5 and 4, 4. So 5 favorable cases out of 6 into 6, 36. So probability of getting an 8 is 5 out of 36. So 5 by 36, that is option B. Two dice are thrown. What is the probability that their sum is 10? Now probability is often calculated as number of favorable outcomes by total number of outcomes. So first of all, let us calculate the total number of outcomes. Now for the first die, it can be any number from 1 to 6. So 1 to 6, 6 possible outcomes are there. For the second die also, any number from 1 to 6, so 6 possible outcomes are there. So 6 into 6, 36 is the total number of outcomes. Now next we will find out the number of favorable outcomes such that their sum is equal to 10. So one possible outcome is it can be 6 and 4. Another possible outcome is it can be 5 and 5. Also 6 and 4 can be interchanged. It can be 4 and 6. Now these are the only 3 favorable cases where the sum is equal to 10. So these 3 favorable cases are there. So 3 out of 6 into 6, 36. So that is 3 by 36. Here 3 divides 12 times. So the final probability is 1 by 12. Hence option A, 1 by 12 is the right answer. Two dice are thrown. What is the probability that the sum is either 10 or 11? Now probability is calculated as number of favorable outcomes by total number of outcomes. Now first we will find out the total number of outcomes. So for the first die, it can be any number from 1 to 6, so 6 possible outcomes. For the second die also, any number from 1 to 6, 6 possible outcomes. So 6 into 6, 36 is the total number of outcomes. Now we will look at the number of favorable cases where their total sum is either 10 or 11. So first we'll calculate for 10. Now one favorable outcome is 6 and 4, and it can be interchanged also. It can be 4 and 6. Also it can be 5 and 5. So these are the favorable outcomes where the total sum is 10. That is, these three favorable cases are there. Next we look at the number of favorable cases where their total sum is 11. So one possible outcome is 5 and 6, and it can be interchanged. It can be 6 and 5 also. So these are the two favorable outcomes where the sum is 11. So only two favorable outcomes are there, either 10 or 11. So one of these three or one of these two. So 3 plus 2, 5 favorable cases are there out of a total of 6 into 6, 36. So 5 by 36, that is the probability that the sum is either 10 or 11. So 5 by 36, option B. A coin is tossed 2 times. Find the probability of getting exactly one head. So one head, there are two possible outcomes. It can be head, first one is a head and then you get a tail. Or it can be first one is a tail and then you can get a head. So you can see in both the cases you will have exactly one head. So two favorable cases are head and then a tail, or it can be tail and then a head. So we'll find out the probability of this and then we'll add it up. So first one is a head, that is 1 by 2, and second one is a tail, that is 1 by 2. Or it can be first one is a tail, that is 1 by 2, and then it is a head, that is also 1 by 2. So 1 by 2 into 1 by 2, 1 by 4, plus 1 by 2 into 1 by 2, 1 by 4. 1 by 4 plus 1 by 4, you will get it as 1 by 2. So that is the probability of getting exactly one head. It can be head and tail or tail and head. So find the probability of each and add it up. You will get it as 1 by 2, that is option C. A coin is tossed 2 times. Find the probability of getting at least one head. At least one head means 1 or 2 heads. So you can have it as either 1 or 2 heads. So that will be at least one head. It can be head and tail, or it can be tail and head. Then we will find out the probability of getting exactly 2 heads. That is, it can be head and head. So it can be like this or like this, or it can be like this. So these are the three possible outcomes. So we'll find out the probability of each and add it up. It can be head and tail, tail and head, or it can be head and head. So head and tail means first one is a head is 1 by 2, second one is a tail is also 1 by 2. Plus first one is a tail, that is 1 by 2, second one is a head is 1 by 2. Or it can be head and head, again half into half. So that is, each one is 1 by 4 and 3 times. So that will be 3 by 4. That is the probability of getting at least one head. At least one means 1 or 2. That you will get it as 3 by 4. Hence option A, 3 by 4. Let me briefly explain how to prepare for your aptitude test. First of all, you need to familiarize yourself with all the questions that have been worked out here. These are the questions that keep on repeating in many of the aptitude tests. After that, you need to attempt practice tests. According to me, you need to attempt at least 10 practice tests before your actual placement test. Here, I will be giving you 10 practice tests, and these practice tests will be ideal for you to improve your test scores. The 10 practice tests are available at a cost of only rupees 200. So all that you need to do is make a payment of rupees 200, either through Google Pay or through PhonePe or through Paytm, and you will receive the 10 practice tests. The details of the payment comes next.